student at Boston University, and I'm a freelance photographer. So today, thank you for having me, and I'm just going to talk about my journey as a photographer and continuing. So how it all started. These are some of the companies that I've been associated with, and it started when my dad actually worked at Polaroid, so he had a lot of cameras around the house, and I would photograph when I was younger, just like in the garden of my backyard, snakes and stuff. It was interesting. But then when I was in 8th grade, I received my first digital camera, and that's kind of where it really started off. And when I was in middle school, I was like the only student in photo club with my teacher, so that was fun. And then once I started high school, I grew up in Boston, in a suburb nearby, and there's the Griffin Museum of Photography, which Arthur Griffin is a famous photographer throughout Boston. He photographed multiple Life magazines and Time magazine, and worked a lot with Boston Globe and everything. And so I interned there for 4 years during my high school career, and that's when I started a lot of fine art photography, because when I was working there, my boss offered me to take portfolio classes because they offered them there, but I got to take them for free because I worked there. And I met a lot of different artists, and it was really interesting, in networking. And so let me switch the slide. So I started getting a lot more into photography, and I took a course at the New England School of Photography, and then I started going out to different companies and seeing if they needed freelance photographers and whatnot. And these are some behind the scenes images. My first brand that I got to photograph for was Lush Cosmetics for Valentine's Day, and a January issue for posting on social media. So that was the first big one, which was really fun. So then as I was interning, it led to a lot of different opportunities. I got to restore photos of Jackie Kennedy, Frank Sinatra, all these different interesting people. But I always had viewed photography as more of a hobby than as an actual work. So I hadn't seen it as work till a certain point in my lifetime so far. And then these are, this was my first gallery opening at a group exhibition, and with the Arthur Griffin Museum, I got to display my photographs. And from there, I've been in a lot of different galleries throughout Boston, SoA, which is the art district of Boston, Providence, Rhode Island, other suburbs, Concord, Lexington, and it's really gone on a journey from there. But I had multiple different interests because when you're an artist, you usually need to eventually pick a specific route, so that when Maeve was talking earlier, to brand yourself, that you have to what you're known for. And I was kind of all over the place. I liked fine art, street, and fashion. Those are my 3 main ones. So I'm still trying to decide which route I want to go down. So I'm just going to flip through some of my work and then continue. So this is a behind the scenes. I photographed this in my bathtub with the Lush soaps, the plants. And then fine art photography, I have a really big Italian family, so we, that's my family. Yeah. just like photographing. So like I always have my camera on me because you never know like when you can capture an image. And then I like a lot of street, just like always my camera. And sometimes it feels like awkward because someone's like, "Why are you taking a picture of me?" But it's really fun because you never know like what you're gonna see that day, especially with street photography. Like you don't know what you're gonna capture. This was last year's Super Bowl parade. Not last year, the year before that. This was the Boston Marathon, Chinatown. And so then what I'm really focusing on now is fashion. Through BU, I'm part of Off the Cuff, which is a fashion magazine that produces an issue every semester. I'm also in Fashion and Retail Association, which is a business through Equestrian, and I started, this is Andrew, she spoke earlier. Let's get started.
Oh my god, can't believe it.
Project. This is in our Star Market. If anyone here goes to BU in Alston. Yeah, and so I guess the pivotal moment as to like where I decided that it wasn't going to just be a hobby and where I wanted to run with this was at the end of my high school career. I was very fortunate to receive the photography scholarship from the Arthur Griffin Foundation, which is separate from the museum, so like it wasn't biased, but they're separate organizations. But I was like, wow, okay, so like I really enjoyed doing this, and like I thought it would just be like something for fun, and then I realized that like other people actually liked my work as well, and that I could try to make something of it as a career versus than just a hobby. So like if you think if you play sport or if you like music and you just do it as like a hobby, like but you actually like that's something that you love doing, like I would encourage you to go out and show other people, like not be afraid of like showing them your work. And like if you like writing or anything like that, like, and it is marketable, even if you don't think it is, you just need to like, keep trying. And so like currently I work for Boston University doing like a ton of all their event photography, but I also work, I just landed a job photographing for Boston Common magazine, which is like a luxury fashion magazine, which is like really cool. But like had I not realized like trying to just do this not as just like a hobby and not go for it, then I wouldn't be where I'm trying to be at. So I would definitely, like anything that you're interested in, you should really like try and just see where it goes from there. And so I'm just going to show you my current work right now. This is my Instagram and website if anyone's interested.